Hi friends, I'm Stephanie Hansen. Let's go! I've been cooking, eating, and talking about it for years.
This is amazingly good.
Now I'm inviting you along for the ride. You seem like you're pretty adventurous about food. Meet the chefs, home cooks, restaurateurs, and bakers honing their crafts. Oh, look at that technique. And try new recipes with me in my kitchen. It's simple, it's easy, that looks amazing. There's always something delicious to share. This is Taste Buds. Hey Taste Buds, I'm so excited for you to be here with me today because we are making some awesome stuff. We have a new show on Fox Local called Taste Buds. And today we are bringing you not one, not two, but 3 of our favorite episodes that will help you prepare for the holidays. So our first episode is all about making some amazing desserts for your friends and family. Here is my fall dessert face-off with my friend, Stephanie March. Summer's over and it is fall eating season. And I brought my friend Stephanie March, who's my radio partner for 17 years have we decided?
I think like 1,700 years,
Yes.
It feels like at least.
Every Saturday from 9 to 11, unless I'm harvesting, she covers for me. We get on the air and we talk about all the things that are happening in the Twin Cities food scene, restaurants and cooking. Stephanie is the expert. She's the food expert for Minneapolis-St. Paul magazine. And the role I have has sort of been eater. I am like a little less precise. Today, we are going to test that model with a highbrow, lowbrow kind of dessert situation.
Right.
Our #1 requested recipe on the weekly dish drives Stephanie crazy because it is a Mountain Dew apple dumpling. I made it a long time ago. I don't even know where I got the recipe, but you literally pour butter, Mountain Dew, and sugar over apples, and it ends up being completely delicious.
I mean, it's a hard one to stomach for some people. So if you're on that team with me where you're like, I'm sorry, did she say Mountain Dew?
Yes.
Yes, you're on my team.
Cooking with
you're
Mountain
this
Dew.
Stephanie.
We're also gonna make your almost pound cake.
Yeah.
Very special to your family.
It is, and it is a little bit more of a technique-driven baked good because it is something a little bit more you need to fold. We're gonna get into some egg whites. It's gonna be crazy.
So, all right, are you ready to show everyone my famous Mountain Dew apple dumpling recipe with crescent rolls?
I think also it's important to know I have never made this before.
Oh, it's
in our 17 years together, this is the first time I'm in the presence of this cake being made.
It's the ultimate fall dessert. Let's make it. Mountain Dew apple dumpling. Steph, again, I don't even know where this recipe came from, but we are going to spray our pan with nonstick spray.
Okay.
Then open the crescent roll container. And I just found out something about Stephanie. She doesn't like this part.
This is terrifying.
Ready?
Wait. No, but it's gonna happen before I'm ready.
No,
it's gonna
not.
happen.
I think they make them a little less poppy than they used to. So we are taking,
There it is, I got it.
you got it, woo woo. We are taking our Pillsbury crescent rolls and we are just gonna wrap up the apples in each little piece of crescent roll dough. I like to use Granny Smith apples in this recipe because they are a little more tart and there is so much sugar in here that you want to balance that tartness.
Do you do like the fat side out to this, like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And you can do this with kids or grandkids. So if you need like an activity at Thanksgiving, this is kind of fun.
Do you layer them a specific way in there?
I like to do like 2 or 3 across, but you don't have to get fancy with it. You could lay them sideways too.
Does like the fat side go one way or do you like?
This is the difference between the Stephanies. I'm just like, yeah, we're just gonna put these in here. Stephanie wants technical expertise.
I want to do it correct.
Or instruction. Okay, we are going to take a stick of butter that I've already melted, and we're gonna put in brown sugar.
Okay.
And that's a half a cup of sugar, because remember,
This is not a
sugar's
low-cal.
really good for you. This is a little pumpkin pie spice. You have a half a teaspoon of that and a teaspoon of cinnamon.
Okay.
And then we're just gonna mix all of this zhuzh together. And we're just literally gonna
You're just gonna.
sprinkle this on the top.
You know what I really want from that?
You want more sugar.
More sugar.
You are like, hey, right now,
You know what it
we
really
could
needs?
really put a Mountain Dew
You know what?
on
There's
that.
too much fruit in there right now. I need more
Sugar.
sugar. It's gonna be delicious. That's the worst part. As much as I rip on this, it's gonna be delicious.
It will be. All right, so they keep changing the size of soda cans, right? So we need 12 ounces, and this is 7.5 ounces a can
I wonder why they're making them smaller.
for the recession. Okay, so we are literally just pouring this, and you don't pour it on top, you pour it along the side.
Okay.
Stephanie, you're gonna take about half of your can
Okay.
and pour it. The idea is that the leavening agent happens actually from the bubbles of the soda. Okay, we're gonna take this whole situation and we're just gonna put it in the oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes.
That's like 4 ingredients. That's pretty great.
It is time. I can hear the bubbling. Look at that. Now, you didn't think it was gonna get all dumpling-ish and delicious, but it did.
Is that what I thought?
Yes. And we're gonna put a little ice cream scoop. There you go, Steph.
All right, I'm gonna scoop.
All right, here you go.
Thank you.
You're gonna mash this in our face.
Okay, put it in your face.
Now, I've had this before, but Stephanie hasn't.
I have not.
It's delicious. Yum. The sugar's all caramelized. The apples are perfectly sweet because we've put so much sugar on
I was
there.
gonna say,
The crusty crescent roll, look at that. It's real crusty.
yeah, that's nice. I do like that aspect of it.
We have a taste bud
Oh,
scale.
there's a whole rating system.
There is,
Okay.
and 1 is like, meh, don't bother. 5 is run, don't walk to this recipe. So for me, this is a 4.5. It's so sweet and so delicious.
I like the ease that this does. I can see serving this to people who who have shown up at your house and need refreshments. I'm not eating this. I just don't think I can eat a whole one. And so, because it's that sweet for me. It's just a
So-
little tooth-achingly sweet for me. So I'm gonna give
Fair
it,
enough.
can I give it a 2? Because I like the execution for the fact of like, I get it, this is just not me. It's just not for me. And I love the fact that it was fast and easy. And there is a fruit. There's a fruit.
Okay, 2 taste buds from Stephanie, 4.5 taste buds from me. You make it, send me a comment.
Yeah, decide.
You decide. Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Hansen, and we are bringing you a special hour of my new show, Taste Buds, on Fox Local. So let's get back into it. So we finished the apple dumplings, and now we're on to Oma's pound cake. Tell me about why this cake is special to you.
Well, this is just the cake that my mom always made for any of our birthdays. When I went to college, like, you knew like there was a package in the mailbox. It was like, get there as fast as possible. Now we all make it for each other for sort of to say I love you.
I love the idea of mailing cake.
Mail cake, man, do it.
So this is a little more involved process.
Let's talk about sifting, because I feel like
Sure.
we never sift.
No.
I don't know, this is not part of our generation to sift,
No.
right? And I don't own like a sifter.
No.
But this was a thing that my mom said, you have to sift the flour. I use my strainer, like my manky
Same.
old strainer. This pound cake is obviously a really fine crumb. You know, it's really dense. I think this is part of what helps it become that texture. And then I'm gonna add the sugar in with it, and then a little baking soda. And then we just go back at it.
And I'll sift.
Yeah, you just kind of shake it.
Agitating.
Yes, there's a lot of agitation in this recipe, I'll tell you.
All recipes have a certain amount of aggression release, I'm convinced.
Yes. I mean, rage baking is not a bad thing. I'm not saying you should, I'm just saying if you have to, I hear you.
You've evenly dispersed the sugar with the flour.
Yeah.
No lumps.
So now we're gonna get this into with the butter.
Okay.
Let's do that. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna agitate the butter. We're just gonna make it a little bit angry. You wanna agitate it so that it has a little bit of like, you know,
Texture
Yeah.
and, okay, great.
and you just sort of slowly add in your flour mixture. And you might wanna scrape it down a little bit. And then I'm gonna keep putting it in, and I'm gonna get some flour all over your kitchen.
Yeah, that's good. That means we made a good cake.
I know. So there you go. And I mean, that's just sort of an agitated flour butter mixture, and you kind of just want to scrape it in so that it's
Got it.
It's lumpy is great. Lumpy is great.
Okay.
We need 7 room temperature eggs, and we're gonna save the egg whites. Only the yolks go in, and you add them one at a time.
Okay.
And basically, I don't care how you separate them. Maybe you use your hand, maybe you use your, you know, a shifty technique like this.
I'm kind of nervous about this.
I know.
I'm not the best.
Okay. Ready for your yolk over here.
Yeah, we're ready. Come on, little.
The technique of the hand is you use your hand as a strainer. Look how fast that was.
And it
then you
works
just get in there.
easier
See?
than.
And then we're keeping mixing as we go. It's okay to fish out the shell. I don't mind that.
We can't have that yolk
Well,
in
we
there
can't
though.
have any
It'll
yolk.
ruin our egg whites.
Yeah, you can never have even
so
the
let's
small
just,
bit.
I'll finish this task.
All right, let's get it.
Okay.
Oh, look how great that was. Get it in.
Here we go.
I feel good about you.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep mixing.
I'm glad you do.
I do. It looks more like a dough.
Yeah,
right?
it looks almost like a cookie dough.
I do like to add in a little bit of vanilla. And lemon juice is very big in our house. My mom always added in orange water or rose water, actually. It's kind of what are you feeling like? Sometimes, I might add in a little whiskey. It's
You
fine.
put whiskey in bundt cake?
You can.
I love it.
Okay, so we're gonna put the sticky dough into this bowl because we're gonna use this same mixer bowl to whip these egg whites. So we're gonna get these into here. You've seen that we've changed our mixer bowl. So we wanna get this to kind of start up just a little bit, just with the egg whites, and then we add in just a little quick pinch of salt and a little cream of tartar, which is one of those things that I feel like people don't have in their kitchens, or they have it and they never use it. So we're gonna get this frothy.
Whipping egg whites is not necessarily easy, friends. You
No.
have to get the yolk and the white separated exactly right.
And now you can see that they're bubbly and frothy.
Yep.
And then you put in a cup of powdered sugar. We're gonna just kind of bring that together
Okay.
on a quick low speed. And we go up higher.
Okay, I'm feeling good about it. I'm seeing like viscosity, I'm seeing thickness.
I'm still worried.
You are?
Yeah, it's looking still a little watery to me.
Now it's getting thicker, right?
Yeah, it looks a little bit. This is gonna work.
I know, I can see. As it's whipping, it's leaving behind trails in the egg whites, which means they're gonna get to the right consistency.
Congratulations. We kind of want a little soft peak to form.
Yep.
3 seconds more.
That looks like kind of a little gnome.
It does. It does. It feels
Little
like
gnome head.
it's a little ghost friend.
Hello. Now, how you're gonna incorporate all this?
Now comes the muscle. Let's go. What I do is I take a spatula and I plop in the first two, and I just kind of give that a moment. And here's what I'm gonna say about this. It's not easy, and it looks like you're doing it wrong, and it looks like you're failing, but like most things in life, you just gotta give it a little bit more time and practice.
Plop one.
Yep. Plop two. Good. You just gonna have to have the faith that it's all gonna get in. Okay, look at that. That was not so hard, and now it looks more like cake batter.
This was my mom's Nordic ware pan from solidly like 1970, since we're doing Omas and Grandmas.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna spray it with Pam.
Do it.
And you really have to get in here, you guys, because you do not want to have had all this work and then your cake not work.
Don't breathe. So I think you just plop it in, you guys. It doesn't have to be so even either. All right.
Got it?
All right, I feel good about this. So let's get it in the oven. We want to go 325. You want to get it right in the middle there. It's going to take 60 minutes.
Wow, that's a long time.
And then I have to tell you this, after an hour, you want to stick the stick in and see that the batter comes out.
Yep.
Make sure it comes out clean, and then you turn your oven off and let it sit in there for 15 more minutes.
Okay.
She's not ready yet. So then after that, you pull her out, and I like to just let her sit on top of the stove in the pan for 10 minutes, and then you unbunt it.
So this is the moment of truth. We've let the cake cool.
Yep.
Stephanie likes to put it on a baking rack.
Yep. And I think you have to just trust yourself and trust your cake and your technique. Oh,
Cute, and trust your Nordic ware, really.
That's it. Look at that.
That is
Isn't
real
that
pretty.
Beautiful.
I like.
Then you put a little bit of powdered sugar,
Okay, that looks real pretty.
and it's just a little bit of a snowfall, right? I'm gonna cut you a lovely little slice.
And I like that you're just like very simple. You're not like relying on caramel sauce or
No.
chocolate or any fruit. Look at the crumb.
Here, let's look at this. The density of this.
Oh my gosh.
That's what makes you feel like butter. Also, the caramelization on the outside and the top. It's pretty cool. It's still good.
Buttery, sugary.
Yeah.
It almost tastes like a delicious sugar cookie in a pound cake form.
Yeah.
And there's a hint of lemon, but not like lemony.
No, that's why you can put in other little flavorings that you want to give, but it'll never be overly present.
Stephanie,
Okay.
Thank you so much for being my taste bud.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being meh,
Yeah.
5 being run, don't walk to the recipe.
Yeah.
What are you giving it?
Well, I'd have to give it a 5.
You do.
Because it's mine, and also because it has become such a go-to for my whole family. It is a little more difficult. Not everybody's gonna give it a 5.
I think the process is a little more difficult and might be intimidating to some. I mean, I can't give it a 4.5 because that would put your mom's pound cake on the same level as the Mountain Dew apple dumpling, which would be weird.
No.
I'm gonna go 4.9. The 4.9 taste buds.
Okay.
Pew, pew, pew.
I love it.
Well, Stephanie, that was super fun to have you in my kitchen with Almost Pound Cake and the Mountain Dew apple dumplings, the weekly dish #1 recipe. Just want to remind people.
I'm super glad we got to do this. Like,
Yeah.
this is a really good expertise moment for both of us on this.
And it really defines, you're the expert, I'm the eater, but wherever you fall on that spectrum,
Yeah.
make sure you make these recipes because taste buds, you're gonna love it. And you can find those recipes on our website at fox9.com/tastebuds. And when we come back, he's one of Time's most influential people of 2023. It's Chef Sean Sherman next. Welcome back, Taste Buds, and if you're just tuning in, we are bringing you a special hour of our new show called Taste Buds on Fox Local. We're headed to the Midtown Global Market to see my friend Sean Sherman, who is doing incredible work at the Indigenous Food Lab. When I think about harvest season, I think about the foods that we get from the earth. I think about the Thanksgiving meal, because feasting season for me really starts as we get into the fall. And there's no better person to talk to about feasting season and fall harvest than Sean Sherman. Sean is an amazing human being, and he has done so much to advance the cause of Indigenous food and to help us even understand what is Indigenous food, because I'm telling you, it's probably not what you think it is. Sean is a James Beard Award winner. He's won the Julia Child Award. He's one of Time's 100 most influential people of the year. He's so knowledgeable about food. I cannot wait to talk to him and to learn about the Indigenous ingredients that we should be cooking with. I do love to shop a good food market. We are at the Indigenous Food Lab, and I thought I would just take a spin through the market. We've got bison right around the corner. They have duck, they have goose. Some things that are maybe a little bit harder to find in some of your traditional grocery stores. And I don't know if you've ever had these syrups, but they are super delicious. This is a wild blueberry syrup. This is wild rice from the Red Lake Nation. Also, wild rice flour. Did you know there was such a thing? I'm here with Sean Sherman. He is the sous chef, fancy sous chef. You've had like 1 million awards. You're a James Beard Award winner. You're a Julia Child. I mean, she's like my idol, so that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's big.
Also, you're the only person I know that's the Time Magazine 100 most influential people. You're the only one I know. Do you know any others? Have you met any others?
Well, we met a bunch of people at the gala this year.
Okay, so that's cool. We are here at your Indigenous Food Lab in the Midtown Global Market, and it's something very new and different. In one respect, you are a fast casual restaurant.
Here, yep.
Yeah, and in another respect, you're a prep kitchen and catering kitchen, and then we have the market behind us. And then, of course, you have the award-winning James Beard restaurant, Awamni. So, who are you? Why are you able to do all this cool stuff?
So, I'm Sean Sherman,
You
obviously. I'm just really excited that we are finally getting all of these visions that we've had for years, manifesting now.
Yeah.
Our goal is to be a regional center point to help to develop tribal communities, Indigenous entrepreneurs, to create more food businesses. And we're trying to create access to Indigenous food, trying to create access to Indigenous education, because to us they go hand in hand.
I love it.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go into your kitchen.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, let's do it.
And what are we gonna make today?
We're just gonna make some tacos that we serve over here. So we got some bison birria, we have some charge just from our garden space, and that's just some of the corns that we utilize to make all these tortillas. And we have some fresh tortillas that they're actually busy making over in our kitchen right now.
Okay. And we're using bison.
We try to purchase as much as we can from Indigenous producers. So all this bison comes from the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, which is a Lakota tribe in South Dakota. A lot of tribes are starting to bring more bison back
Yeah.
into their communities.
Because I always thought they were kind of not extinct. What's the word I'm looking
Almost
for?
were.
Yeah, endangered. That's
Yeah,
the word.
the American bison was targeted by the U.S. government as a means to weaken a lot of the tribes in the West. So they spent tons of money throughout the 1860s and 70s to destroy that animal by just paying hunters to take as many as they can.
Really?
So hundreds of millions of these animals were just wiped off the earth in a couple of decades, almost to extinction. And the purpose, again, was to hurt the tribes that were still holding on to their own sovereign nations out here. And it did work, you know?
Yeah, they got rid of the bison almost. So good. I'm glad we're bringing bison back because the meat
Absolutely.
is delicious.
Yeah, and it's part of our philosophy of just showcasing that there's other proteins out there besides cows, pigs, and chickens,
Sure.
you know, which weren't even from North America.
Yeah.
So we're looking at things that are from here.
And Swiss chard, I love.
We just love greens, so there's a lot of edible greens out there, and we have our beautiful gardens. I'm just gonna set this over here for a second. Warm up a couple of tortillas for us here. This is the wojapi, so this is just berry sauce.
What kind of berry?
This is mixed, so this has a little bit of aronia, blackberry, blueberry, strawberry, cranberry.
There's so many berries that are in the Midwest that are native too that people don't think about.
Yeah. And then we have
Oh, already it smells so good. It's spicy. I can smell a little bit of the fruit from the sauce.
Yeah, because our main focus is just looking at indigenous foods of North America. So we look at Mexico through Alaska, because like the colonial borders don't really matter. So to us, it doesn't matter who's speaking Spanish, French, or English, because those are all European colonial languages. Those are foreign languages to the land. So we're really focused more on showcasing and highlighting a lot of this foods that are indigenous, you know, and Mexican food is more indigenous than it is, you know, Spanish or French,
Absolutely.
whatever. And because we just have this little lunch counter, we wanted some easy things for people to share, to be able to taste and try.
It's also like an easy way to access foods that you're not familiar with when you put them in tacos. Let's
Sure,
just be
yeah.
honest.
So that's pretty much it. You know, it's just a bison taco.
Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Hansen, and we are bringing you a special hour of my news show, Taste Buds, on Fox Local. So let's get back into it. All I do on this show is eat, so it's time to eat.
Yeah, help yourself.
All right.
I'll take a bite with you.
Wow. They're kind of spicy. I love.
Just a little tiny bit. It's just some of the dried chilies we're using in the birria. So, you know, there's some guajillo,
good.
some ancho, there's a few different kinds, morita.
I also like the salsa, and there's squash in there too.
Because it's corned beans and squash, so the three sisters.
So how do you do the squash? Did you pickle it or?
Yeah, so the squash and the corn, everything is just pickled. Just
Love.
a quick pickle, you know. So
Okay.
it just gives it a little tang.
Super
It's fun.
delicious,
Yep.
a super soft tortilla. When you were growing up in the restaurant business and you had all these restaurant jobs, were you familiar with these ingredients, or how did you get so smart about indigenous food?
I worked in a lot of restaurants in Minneapolis because I moved here in the late 90s. Quickly, I moved my way into an executive chef career, and I didn't go to culinary school. I remember my very first restaurant job, they asked me, like, where did I learn culinary? And I was like, well, I just worked restaurants a lot, and I would go down to what used to be a bookstore in Calhoun Square, and I would just sit in the cookbook area, just pull books down and take notes and then put them back. And that's all I learned. Like, I couldn't even afford the books back then.
Oh, that's
So,
amazing.
but I was working in kitchen, so I would have these recipes to test and try. And then eventually when I realized the absence of indigenous everything, even in my own education, that changed everything, you know, because all the cooking fads didn't mean anything to me anymore.
Yeah.
And it was really about trying to figure out, like, how can I learn this? How can I move forward with this with very little information, you know? So I'd always tease that I couldn't just go online and buy Joy of Native American Cooking,
No,
to
you
learn,
could not.
because it didn't exist. So I had to, like, really put
You wrote
myself
it.
out there. Yeah, kind of,
You
a little
did.
bit. So if you want to honor indigenous communities, do it through food. Buy native food products from native food producers, you know, and practice building some recipes that might taste like where you happen to live at. you
Yeah.
know? And then take a moment of pause to think about all of the hardships that a lot of indigenous communities had to go through to still be alive today, you know? I know our team is putting together little gift boxes to help people indigenize their Thanksgiving dinner, and there'll be a whole bunch of native food products and recipes for them to follow to have a bunch of sides of things at their dinner to really, and be able to have that story.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're going to do a Christmas gift box too from the
we're gonna
market.
put the holidays together, so Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you want to celebrate.
Yeah.
We'll put it all together, but it'll just be nice boxes with a whole bunch of, fun offerings of things that we have over here in the market.
Should people follow you on social media because you are talking about recipes and ingredients that maybe people aren't familiar with?
Yeah, I mean, an easy one is just my name, SeanSherman.com, which goes to all of the things we've created, but there's also natifs.org, and it's NATIFS, because that's the nonprofit. The acronym is North American Traditional Indigenous Food Systems. And under Natives is everything, because we have the Indigenous Food Lab, now we have a WAMNI, and we have all of this stuff being built. And we're model building of things that we want to put in other regions too. Other training kitchens and studio kitchens and other market spaces and other production kitchens and other restaurants that can really be focused on the cultures and diversity of wherever we might be.
Can you clone yourself?
I don't know, I guess we'll find out, right?
Absolutely, because that's some like.
I don't think my clone's gonna like that though, because I'll be on a beach somewhere.
It's gonna be very busy. Yes, but if you've cloned enough of you, maybe no one will know that it's not the real Sean Sherman. Well, thanks for having us out today. It was really fun to share your story.
Absolutely.
But also, I've seen you speak a couple of times. You are such a generous, humble, regular soul.
Oh, thanks.
So I wanted people to just spend time with you and really see how much of this vision you thought up all this long time ago, and you're really realizing it.
Yeah, everything's manifesting, so we feel really good at where we're at right now. And we have so much possibility for the future.
Yeah, and the people you're bringing along with you too.
Yeah.
All right, thanks Sean for having us.
Thank you, appreciate it.
We are back from the Indigenous Food Lab, and I picked up some Red Lake Nation wild rice because I was thinking, Sean's done all this work about helping us understand what are Indigenous foods, and I wanted to be able to cook something with things I had to think about, like, was this here originally? Did it come over from somewhere else? But I think I've come up with a great recipe that honors his work. So we're gonna start with an acorn squash, and we're gonna stuff it with a wild rice stuffing that is made with all Indigenous ingredients. So first I'm gonna show you how to cut an acorn squash pretty handily. What I usually do is I get it started with my knife. I'm going to go ahead and just smack it pretty hard so that I can get this all the way through. That really works. And here's a Hansen hack. All of the things that you can use to get the seeds out of a squash, the number one tool is the ice cream scoop. It allows you to easily scoop out all the seeds, all the strings. See how easily that works? I went ahead and already cooked a couple of acorn squash. I laid it upside down on a piece of parchment paper with oil. I rubbed oil inside it. I used sunflower oil because that's Indigenous. And I flipped them upside down, and I just got these pretty much cooked all the way through. I also, because wild rice can take a while to cook, I cooked this in my Instant Pot. I used a cup of rice, 2 cups of liquid, and I put it in there for 30 minutes. If you don't have an Instant Pot, that's fine. I have instructions for how you can make wild rice in this recipe on your stovetop. You can find all of that at fox9.com/tastebuds. So we've got our rice. Also, when we cooked the squash, I cooked some sweet potatoes because I did not know that sweet potatoes were Indigenous foods to the Americas, and they are. I roasted them for about 25 minutes, and I cut them pretty small because I just want them to be more flavoring, not the star of the dish. Also, Swiss chard is Indigenous too. I like the pretty red color of the stems, so I usually use a little bit of those when I'm cooking. I also used mushrooms, which you can imagine that mushrooms were here because we still find them in the woods today. Also, cranberries. Now we know cranberries are Indigenous, and sage is Indigenous. I've got 2 teaspoons of salt, which seems like a lot, but we want to make sure that our wild rice has a lot of flavoring. We've got walnuts, and we've pretty much got everything in here. We're just going to give it a quick stir, and we're going to stuff our squash. So we're gonna want a little bit of seasoning and a little bit of fat. So I'm using maple syrup. And we're gonna cook it for 10 minutes at 350 just to get it heated up again. The moment of truth is here. It's time to take our squash out of the oven. Ooh, yum. Smells so delicious. We're basically just reheating all the ingredients and letting that maple syrup get down into the acorn squash. Now for serving, it's kind of intended to be 1/2 of a squash per person. My friend Debbie Wolk made me a taste bud platter and a little bowl there, which is so cute. We're gonna get a little bit of the acorn squash and a little bit of the stuffing in every bite. Yum. So nutty, a little sweet with that maple syrup and the cranberries. Really like homey with the sage and the salt. And it's all coming together with a little bit of the hint of the nut and the sunflower oil. This is really a delicious dish that feels just like Minnesota harvest time. It's got all of the elements, and we're eating all indigenous foods that we learned about from Sean Sherman. I really learned a lot. Like, it was just a great episode for me to learn exactly what I'm eating and where my food's coming from as I think about preparing for Friendsgiving and Thanksgiving. You guys, thank you for coming along on this journey at Midtown Global Market and in my kitchen. Thanks to Indigenous Food Lab and Sean Sherman, we learned a lot today. You can find this recipe at fox9.com/tastebuds. And up next, the most delicious fudgy cookies ever with cookbook author Sarah Kieffer. Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Hansen, and we are bringing you a special hour of my new show, Taste Buds, on Fox Local. And up next, the most delicious fudgy cookies ever with cookbook author Sarah Kieffer. Sarah Kieffer. Oh my gosh, we are in Sarah Kieffer's kitchen. I mean, look at that pink stove. Who has a pink stove except for a glorious cookie baker who's got not one, not two, not three, but 4 cookbooks, and also has a blog called the Vanilla Bean Blog where she shares all of her cookie baking secrets. I took a class from her the other day, and I was so impressed by all the little tips and tricks that she had for making cookies. I thought, who better to spend some time with this holiday season than Sarah Kieffer. Hey Taste Buds, it's an exciting day today because I'm with Sarah Kieffer in her kitchen. Sarah is someone I've been following for a long time. She makes cookies.
Yes.
And she originally developed the pan-banging method of how to do chocolate chip cookies. Thank you for having us in your home today. And I just want to show you a couple of her amazing cookbooks because I've written 1 cookbook, but she's on her 4th and working on her 5th and probably 6th, 7th, and 8th because she's a local treasure. So the Vanilla Bean baking book was your first.
Yes.
Had you had a history of baking, or how did you come to this profession?
So I started in college. I worked at a coffee shop that made everything from scratch, and they needed help in the kitchen, and so they threw me in there one day, and that's kind of how it started.
Okay, I love that. So your first job was baking.
Yeah.
But the Vanilla Bean baking book was your first.
Yes.
And you told me a cute little story about this label on here because it was nominated for a James Beard Award.
It was not.
Oh,
But
not!
It was not, but my son was really sad that it wasn't nominated.
Aw.
Or anything, so he made me the River Kieffer Award and put that on my book for me.
Love. But I will point out, you were the winner of Savour's Best Baking and Dessert blog.
Yes.
And then you went on to, let's get them in the right order, the 100 Cookies.
100 cookies.
Okay, and then we went into Baking for the Holidays, which
holidays.
is perhaps why we're here today. We might be
Yes.
doing some cookie baking. And this one has a different finish. It's a little shinier.
Yes.
I noticed these things. This is 100 Morning Treats.
Yes.
Which of these books feels like speaks to your style of cooking the most?
This one.
Really?
Yes.
So tell me about that.
This is my favorite book. I realized that recently. It kind of has a little bit of everything, and when I started baking, I did a lot of morning baking.
Yeah.
And so it's just very nostalgic for me.
Oh, what are we gonna make today, Sarah?
It's 2 doughs that can make 3 cookies. So we're making double chocolate mint cookie, and then a chocolate chip cookie, and then we're gonna split them in half and make a half and half cookie.
Sarah's recipes are super approachable, very easy. That's why it appeals to me, and that's why we're here today. So what's the first cookie we're gonna make?
We're gonna make chocolate chip cookies to start.
Okay. What I am so impressed by is you're just gonna make this in the bowl by hand.
Yes, so we're starting with melted butter.
Yes.
We're gonna just add our sugars.
All right, we've got sugars, and you use brown sugar.
And I like to throw the salt in with my sugars just to help it dissolve and like really mix in.
Oh, okay, that's a good tip. And she's stirring with the whisk, which is something I would do.
Yes. So I'm gonna start with the whisk, and my brown sugar is a little hard because it is cold in Minnesota.
Yes.
That can happen, but
holiday
this
season.
nice warm butter is gonna help it even out. And then I'm gonna add my egg yolk.
Okay. Just a yolk.
Just a yolk, and then there's a whole nother egg.
Okay.
The yolk helps make the center more fudgy, which is something that I also love.
Hey, you published a recipe recently for a molasses cookie that had a fudgy center.
Yes.
Fudgy is, I think, your term this season because a lot of the cookies you're working on have those fudgy, kind of underbaked feeling centers.
My dream cookie is a very fudgy center with crisp edges.
Yum,
And that's
me
what I'm
too.
always striving for. And then I'm gonna add vanilla. And
Okay.
I like a whopping tablespoon.
Okay, a tablespoon of vanilla.
You can put less. I know vanilla can be really expensive, and so I always say you can use less, but I love a good strong vanilla flavor. Then we're gonna add our leaveners, which is some baking powder and soda, and mix it right in. And then I'm gonna add my flour. This is the only part that takes a minute. If you're using a stand mixer, obviously that does the work for you.
Can we just do you feel your
Yeah,
arms,
there's-
your biceps?
There's not much there, but.
There is too!
All right, so then when I have it almost totally mixed, I'm gonna add my chocolate. This is 7 ounces, and I've mixed some dark 70% chocolate with some semi-sweet. I like a mixture. You don't have to get that precise. You can throw chocolate chips in here if you
Okay.
want.
What is so cool about this dough to me is all those little crumbly bits, the little chocolatey powder, are mixing into the dough too. So you're gonna get it through each bite of cookie.
Right, and that's what chocolate chips don't do.
Yeah.
And that can also change how your cookie spreads too. But my kids like chocolate chips, so we'll switch how we.
The kids always like it how you don't do it.
Exactly.
That's so funny.
Okay, so this is our dough. Now we're gonna make the double chocolate mint dough.
Double chocolate! All right. Not sure why I did my Nixon peace hands,
I
but
liked
double chocolate. All right, you've got the melted butter again as the
Yeah.
start.
I'm using the same bowl, and there is still a little cookie dough left, but
Sure.
that's okay. It's gonna be
We're not
delicious.
fussy.
No. So we're just gonna put our sugars in again.
Okay, and is that about a cup?
It's 3/4 cup of each.
Okay, all right.
And then our salt. And I'm just taking my whisk and just getting the sugar covered in the butter. All
That
right.
looks so delicious. Okay, 1 egg
One
without the white, just
Yep.
like the other batter, and 1 whole egg.
We're gonna throw those in. We're gonna add vanilla again.
All right, vanilla, and it'll still be minty even with the vanilla?
Yes.
Okay. I think I would have probably just gone mint, no vanilla, so it's good to know you need to balance your flavors.
I mean, you could leave it out, but I
But why?
just love the
So
undertones
good.
of vanilla. And then we're adding mint extract.
Okay,
This is by taste. I like a whopping teaspoon.
okay.
I really want it to taste minty if
Yes,
we're gonna
it's
do
the
this.
holidays, mint away.
You can add more or less. It's gonna be
Oh,
so
yes, woo! It's like,
a mint hit.
yes, love.
Okay, then this is cocoa powder.
Okay,
This is Rodell,
Oh.
which you can get at Costco. And I find that's like a great, just like neutral
Yeah.
cocoa.
I wouldn't know because I've never been to a Costco.
Oh.
It's fun fact, fun fact. I'm terrified of the parking lot. Sorry, Costco, I'm sure you're great.
Okay, so that looks rich and
Oh yeah, that looks like brownie batter, yum.
And we're gonna add our leaveners.
Soda and powder.
Yep, again. So the recipe is very similar, except it has a little less flour due to the cocoa powder.
Oh, okay, so that it still isn't over dry.
Yep, and we want to balance out, since we're making half and half cookies, we want them to melt the same in the oven so then one's not super lumpy and the other one is flat.
Who would think about that?
I stay up at night.
I know, bakers would, that's who.
And then we got our flour. I'm
Okay.
just gonna grab my spatula again. So that looks good. And then
Really
we're gonna add
good.
our chocolate.
So we're gonna get all those little shards and bits, and you guys, I wish we had smell-o-vision because it's smelling like just a minty wonderland.
So then we have our double chocolate mint dough.
Double chocolate. We're like the double mint twins here. Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Hansen, and we are bringing you a special hour of my new show, Taste Buds, on Fox Local. So let's get back into it.
Now we are going to bake 3 kinds of cookies.
Just 3, not 1, not 2, but 3.
We have our double chocolate
Okay.
mint, chocolate chip, and then a half and half.
All right, it's gonna be amazing. Now this is the part of the show where I get to be like all Lucille Ball and try to do what you do, and it doesn't work out, but I'm gonna try. So we're gonna scoop up some cookies, right?
Yes. I just put my scoop in.
I am getting the most heavenly, chocolatey, buttery, minty smells.
So then after you scoop them, I like to roll them into a round ball.
That's why your cookies are so round.
Yes. This helps them stay a little more poofy in the oven.
All right, so I've got it perfectly level,
Perfect.
sort of. 1,
That's great.
okay, 2. Oh, they're probably too close together, but it's okay because I'm gonna roll them in my hands, right?
Yes.
All right, 3. Okay, ready. Oh, this dough is just like amazing. Yeah, and they're kind of like, they get that little sphere
Yep.
that looks like the Epcot Center when you roll them.
Now we're gonna do the half and half, and these are shaped a little differently.
Okay, so you're kind of free forming, yep.
Yep. And then I like to stick them back in the scoop to make sure they're the same size. And then I'm gonna just do the same thing and then roll them. I like to sprinkle salt on top. A lot of people sprinkle the salt after the cookie comes out of the oven, but I feel like it's too salty then. When you do it before, it has time to kind of bake into the cookie.
Smart.
I keep really flaky salt.
Is that like a Maldon sea
Yep.
salt? Okay.
Yes. I just put a little bit, and if they're like the flakes are extra big, I just kind of break them up over the top.
Okay. She made this look really easy, friends, so ours are not gonna probably be as great, but we are going to try. I love this idea that you're almost forming these cookies inside the scoop.
Yeah, I just feel like it keeps everything the same size.
Yes, so smart.
So I bake these for 10 minutes at 400, and then I take them out. You're gonna be able to tell they're ready because they'll be puffed. The top will have a little bit of brown on it. And then we're gonna take a spoon and just smush the centers in.
Okay, when she's pressing, they're making this little like, ooh sound as they are deflating. We wanna show you if you were using pre-frozen balls, kind of what the process would be and how that would be different.
Right, so I've found that freezing them makes, I think, a better cookie. The center is even more fudgy, and they keep their shape better. Up to 2 weeks you can freeze them, and that way you can just do a couple at a time if the mood hits.
Yeah, like you could be the best mom ever and the kids are coming home from school, you see the bus pulling up and you're like, here, let me just put some of my frozen cookie balls in the pan so that I can make fresh cookies for my children every day.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna do 8 here. As you can see, they're rock
Yeah.
solid.
And so how does the salt work in this situation?
I'm still just gonna sprinkle it right on the top.
All right.
It should stick just fine. Okay, so just the same thing, I'm gonna put them in the oven.
Okay.
You may need an extra minute, so at 10 I'd check it. If the top still looks pretty light, I'd give it another minute since they are so cold.
Okay. Oh, look at that. It's so different, the frozen
edges,
ones, yeah.
The edges keep together a little better. They're more puffed. So yeah, I'm gonna take my spoon. You can see there's more of a divot there.
Okay, wait, listen, do one. Can you hear it? There's like a definite sound. All right, so the cookies are done, Sarah. Your kitchen smells fantastic. We have these ones that are cooling. These cookies we've already done. I pulled these off your windowsill because they look like these cute little vintage reindeer. What's the story behind these?
All right, yeah, so they're not vintage.
Okay, but they do look vintage, don't they? They're
vintage.
adorable.
My grandma used to have little vintage deer and like all those little cute ornaments. So every time I see one that looks like one of hers, I have to pick it up.
Oh, I love it so much. So did you bake with your grandma or your mom?
Both my grandma and my mom did not love baking.
Okay.
So my mom always made an effort, especially around the holidays, to do fun stuff in the kitchen. Like she did candy making a couple years.
Oh, that's hard.
It was like the really,
Suckers.
yeah, yep.
We made those too. So if someone was gonna say, what is the Sarah Kieffer like holiday cookie? What would it be that you make?
Oh boy. I think my pan banging ginger cookies.
Yum.
Those, and it's on my website too. I dip it in this rum frosting
Yeah,
or
yeah, rum.
icing. So half of it's got rum and then the other half is plain.
Yum.
And it's a giant cookie. You can put little like holly candies on it.
Okay, that sounds very delicious and very sophisticated too. Well, we have warm cookies, so I
Yes,
feel like we should help ourselves.
Exactly.
We'll give you the good half and half.
Perfect.
Now, do you eat cookies all the time?
Yeah.
Mmm. They're so fudgy in the middle, like a brownie. And for how much mint we put in there, they're minty, but not like
Right.
these. I thought they were gonna be super minty.
It's really subtle.
Wow.
And the crispy edges always get me.
There's nothing about a cookie with salt that doesn't get me every single time. Wow. That's like the best cookie ever. Have you had cookie fails?
Oh, for sure.
Can you think of like an epic cookie fail?
I had like sugar cookies that I had dipped in icing. It was like a thin icing that just never set. And so they were just like, they got all soft.
Oh, and
then the
soggy.
icing didn't set. It was just gross. Yeah.
Who did you feed those to?
Oh, my kids.
Well, you're my new taste bud. So I can come over anytime.
Anytime.
I'll bring the coffee if you have the cookies.
That sounds like a plan.
I promise I'll wash my hands before I touch anything in your house. You don't even have chocolate on your hands. How is that not possible?
Well, I just ate the less chocolate part.
Because you were doing it for like the camera. I'm doing it for real. I'm here eating the cookies.
I was like, it's gonna be all over my teeth.
Oh, yeah. That ship sailed for me. It was too good. I couldn't stop. You know. Thank you for being a taste bud. It's been so fun to spend some holiday time with you in your kitchen.
Thank you so much for
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers to the happy holiday
Yes.
season and to coffee and cookies.
Yes.
But wait, there's more episodes of Taste Buds, and you can watch them all on Fox Local. All you have to do is search Fox Local on your streaming device and install it. Happy holidays. Thanks for watching. See you next time, Taste Buds.